let's go. Happy Monday. It's Championship Monday. Final Four championship game will be tonight with Florida Gators versus those hard-nosed, resilient Houston Cougars. And so, just so you know, even Dallas Melvin got his Houston Cougar gear on. I got the red representing Houston. I'm ready to go coach them boys up. They don't need me because they got Coach Sampson. As usual, we got our boy Pat. He hit Pat Truesdale in the tunnel with us. What's up, Pat?
What's going on, H-Style? Big night tonight. Tonight.
And then we can't have a Final Four championship telecast without having our basketball guru on. I don't know who he's rooting for. It looked like he got SEC in the house with that V on his head and on his chest. But we got Malik. What's up, Malik?
Hey, how y'all doing? H-Time. What's up, baby?
So Malik, before we jump into it, what's up with that? You repping SEC Florida or what?
Right now, I'm going with my pick that I made last podcast.
Which was who?
Which was U of H.
Okay, all right.
Called them out. I'm excited for the game, man, more than anything. For the city, for the exposure. It's one of the first times I went on Facebook and I saw a bunch of U of H jerseys for sale. I know that they have it, but it's more prevalent, more on the national stage. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for both. But I want U of H to win. I think they will upset them. And
all right, hold on. Before we jump all the way into the men's, we're gonna jump in there a little bit. We want to talk about the young women championship game was Sunday, April 6th. We had the historic UConn Huskies going up against the historic South Carolina Gamecocks. And Pat, what you think about the game?
I mean, South Carolina got output for them, and they the champs. They struggle to get there, but that's how it is when you're the champ. Sometimes you don't do that. But it was, and I think UCLA to win it. But I think South Carolina champ. I think UCLA to win the whole thing. I saw what he did, and dude just can coach. And I said the way I saw South Carolina playing in the tournament, I had South Carolina win, but I knew UConn was gonna put it out. You know, that girl was on that. She just hot. She gonna get it right. You know,
Paige Becker.
I knew that. I gotta give it to Coach, man. He had a good game plan. Yeah. And like I said, what I saw what he did Friday night. I think shut that girl down. Yeah, I think UConn gonna get him. South Carolina, but I think UConn gonna get him. I think our homeboys from Philly gonna get him.
Malik, what do you think was the key to the game?
I was going with UConn. Last show, I said UConn.
Why UConn?
Well, I think they were a total team. I think South Carolina, it's hard to repeat when you're losing some of your best players. Cordoza, she's in the pros now. So I always felt like down low, they wasn't as strong as they usually are. And Sarah Strong killed them in the championship game. And she's just a freshman. But I think she had like 23, 12, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. And then Paige did what she did, and Bud just couldn't miss from 3, which she usually can. But it was a better team. They blew them out early at their own gym. So everybody was kind of tripping on how Dunn was upset after the game. As a coach, I understand why she was upset. There's no way in the world we should have got. Yeah, no. I'm talking about last night. You just got embarrassed at your house earlier this year. You get embarrassed on the championship game. She was extremely upset with her team there.
Well, she's a competitor.
She's a competitor. I don't have a problem.
Well, my thing is this. With the transfer portal, you lose your best. But you have to go get the best too, though. Right. You go overnight. That's when UConn did it. Because when they won it the first time, they went and reloaded what they lost. Right. They won it back to back. Now, right now, they got the kid from Georgia going there. They're going to, of course, be a team to watch. You take care of the transfer portal. So my thing is, with her being a champ, she might be going to that portal real tough.
Yeah.
And by you winning, you can do that. That's for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I say you lose your best player, but nowadays you can replace that. It's like crazy, you know. So
like for instance, let's say with U of H, right now this has to be one of the best positions they've been in a long time. Then the national championship game, and then more importantly, they got 3 All-American high school players coming in.
Yeah.
Something.
But when you win, you enjoy it.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about the I guess we go back to the drawing board because my thing is, if I'm losing my top players, I'm going to get transfer. I got to get them bags.
Yeah, like right now, the college scene, you have got to be on it. Every other month, every year. Yeah. Because you can have a whole new roster next year. Literally.
I get that. I get that. Here's what I'll say for the South Carolina team. They didn't have the quote unquote superstar that they've had before in the past on the team. They had a good team, and a good team she showed with good coaching, which she obviously is one of the best coaches in the game right now, can get you there. But unless you have a star that's what's going to put you over the top. So UConn, even with Paige Becker not playing at star level, they have a good team.
Yeah.
When she plays at star level, along with Fudd, along with Strong, then they were a team of destiny.
Yeah.
Like she wanted to be like now she can be, in the same category as Taurasi.
Yes, he needed that. Now,
as Maya Moore, because she had to get that championship. And the last time she was there, she was young. I think it was freshman year. She's gone through some injuries.
Yes.
And, she's quintessential player of the year, voted. Number one pick in the draft, going to UConn and not winning a championship. That would have been unfulfilled for her. So, yeah. So team. I feel like it was a team of destiny, especially with Gino. Gino ain't won a championship since 2016. 2016. It's been almost 9 years.
He said that his mind was after the game. He was in an interview by Holly Rowe, and he was saying that I was going through it because you never know. You think you're not going to get back. Once he's been, it took a long time to get back. And he said you might not even, you got to enjoy the moment as you can. Happy never when you win, because you never know you might not come back. You never know.
Well, that's a great point because I can't remember, and I wish I could credit this person. I was watching a broadcast, and they were talking about Pat Summitt with Tennessee.
Yes.
And they won it for so long, and that program was so dominant. And then you had UConn coming up, and they were right behind them, and then they kind of took over.
And we knew they were going to be that good.
Yeah. And now, so Gino, I'm not saying he's not afraid to admit it, but I think he really felt like South Carolina was at UConn against Tennessee. South Carolina was going to come in and start taking the program. Now, here's what I will say. Even when UConn was kind of taking over the mantle, Tennessee did come back and get one more championship before UConn just took off.
Right.
So this could be the UConn getting their one last championship before South Carolina and some of these other programs take off. So we'll see. I'm happy for the Huskies. It was a good game in the first half. Second half, they ran away with it as they should have. I know. Yeah, you hate to see that. Definitely hate to see blowout championship games. But we had 2 barn burners this weekend on the men's side.
Yeah.
2 of the best games ever.
Before we get to that,
What
you got to say about Lady Horns? Will they be back?
The Lady Horns will be back. They got a bona fide superstar with Madison Booker.
Yeah.
They're gonna add on some pieces from the portal. I don't think they're losing too many. If you look at it, so Lady Horns went 34, 35, and 4.
Great.
Guess what? They lost 3 games to South Carolina and 1 game to Notre Dame. That's all they lost all year. So they lost 2 games all year, 3 of them to South Carolina and 1 to Notre Dame when they had a chance. And Notre Dame was a good team. They lost to South Carolina 3 times.
But they beat them 1 time.
They beat them 1 time. So they played them 4 times. They beat them 1 time. Lost. So to me, that's all about matchups.
Yeah.
That's all about matchups.
Got your number.
So guess what? They met South Carolina again. So if they hadn't met South Carolina, they might have had a chance to actually get in there. And, then you would say then South Carolina would have beat them for the national championship. But you never know. when you get in those positions. So the Horns are set up in a good spot for sure. They should be back contending, but once again, you got to go put in the work.
Yeah.
You got to like the work. The work starts right now, and that's for the coaches on the recruiting side. That's for the coaches developing who they got. That's for bringing in the freshmen, acclimating them to the program, and then you got a lot of other programs that feel like they on the cusp too.
Yeah.
LSU ain't going with Flagene coming back. You know, she coming back. She want to get another chip.
I like her.
I like a game too.
And
So
Tennessee's all right.
Tennessee always has a good program. And then, you know, we're gonna have some. So it's gonna be competitive. And then you can't remember Juju. Can't forget about Juju. It may take her most of the year to come back, but USC, they still got a nice program, and if they can hold it together.
It's not like back in the day. They come back quick a lot of times. They come back strong.
Technology better.
They're saying she won't be back for the beginning of the season, but she should be back by they're saying Christmas time, which will still give her 2 months.
Right.
2 months before the tournament starts. Right. So wishing her and all the other players that got hurt in the tournament nothing but the best for sure. But it was a great women's basketball season. They represented, they showed out time and time again, and why it is a very competitive league in the NCAA tournament. Growing sport for sure. Yep. So now the boys. Not my Cowboys, not yet. But the men college basketball. So before we jump in there, I want to one point. And I saw this online. One of my boys, shout out to Chris. He said that when's the last time you saw PB grads, TSU grads, UT grads, A&M grads, Texas Tech grads, Southwest Texas grads, Texas State grads, and more, all pulling for the same team. Like you go online, it don't matter if you from Texas or you from the area, you pulling for U of H, and you haven't seen that in forever. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. What you think, Pat?
People live here outside of brother yesterday. I ran to my boy from Georgia. They all put it for the SEC. They fought it.
Now, one thing is true. Usually, you root for SEC teams
because this is a metro city.
Yeah, I was about to say right now
they know. Sure. One time in Steiner, get us up in Florida, played in Florida. I know you put in Florida too, but a lot of people. Florida got a big under chapter here.
Yeah,
they got 3 watch parties going on.
No, I get that, but guess what? You got A&M people pulling. You got A&M people pulling for U of H. Right. They should be pulling for Florida.
Right? I'm gonna tell you why. No, it's the name on the jersey. It says Houston.
Yeah. Okay. You have to understand too. The last time I did see that, what you're saying, I still have my ears behind that. Is 1983 because people from Houston, they may go to A&M, they may go to UT. They pull for the hometown. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you have some people, I don't know, it could be, they just love their school or whatever. But yeah, they pulling for them. I'm gonna be with you. I look like Coach Sam.
I'm ready, Coach. Put me in. I'm gonna sideline, get them boys ready. You need some help. I got my warm up on. I'm ready.
Now, one thing I'm gonna say though is Texas is like this. If it's only Texas Tech there, we root for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Okay. So we always like that. But Houston, when every time I'm looking at their jersey, it doesn't say U of H or Cougar. It says Houston. So that's easy for anybody living in this city to go with it. Right. I'm glad they did that marketing ploy with their jerseys.
Right.
It's hot right now. I want a black jersey right now.
Yeah. They win. I might go get me a black.
You know what I mean?
Black Houston Cougars jersey. But before we jump into the game, this is all Final Four, men, women. But we got one tidbit that we want to cover with Houston, and I'm gonna let the Houston Rockets. And I'm gonna let Malik tell it because it's gonna segue us into why an idea or a thought process on how Houston might slow down Florida's hot guard and Clayton tonight. So Malik, take it away.
Yeah, Walter Clayton Jr. is a bucket. Great shooter, great form on the shot, strong, tough kid. Now, if anybody watched the Golden State Rockets game last night, was it the night before, where they had a Steph to 3 points, 1 of 8 shooting, or 1 of 10 shooting, 1 of 8 from 3. They did that through defense. But with taller defenders on, Amin Thompson, 6'7", Brooks, 6'7", would guard him. Steph's only 6'2" and a half. Even though he's a great shooter, it's hard to get over length that can move their feet. At the end of the Duke game, I don't know if anybody noticed, Coach Sampson put a bigger player on Knipple.
Right.
And that changed the way the ending went. Knipple was the most consistent scorer on Duke. Cooper Flag had a good game, but he shot 19 shots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then even at the end of the game, they put Roberts on Cooper Flag.
And hey,
big guy.
Hey, Roberts shut Cooper down. Made him take a tough contested fadeaway, which is a bad shot in theory.
So so what you're thinking is Coach Sampson, Kelvin's gonna put a bigger guy for the whole game?
Not for the whole game. I think
but the key situation.
Half,
okay.
And we need to really stop like he did before.
Right.
Right now, Sampson is playing chess. He's not playing checkers with everybody else. You can tell the way he coached that whole game. He never was out of it. He never felt like he lost. You could tell the way they were moving as a team. Man, right there, we give them too many open shots. Once they start contesting shots, they made 1 field goal for 9 minutes?
That's crazy.
That was great D. Everybody want to say, well, they missed some open shots. It was very few. Not with a hand in their face.
Right.
They were playing great D. Great D. And he switched up the linemen. Everybody wasn't guarding the same people the whole game. And he brought in Malik Wilson. I love Malik Wilson. He only probably played 10 minutes, man. Got the biggest rebound of the game and made some great defensive steals and everything. So right now, the defense is going to win it. And it has to be with the length and keeping the score down. I don't know if y'all noticed, Florida score is 88-90.
Yeah, if Florida gets any more than 75 points, then it's going to be tough for
it's
for the Cougars.
But see, that's what I saw with Duke.
Yeah.
As the style kept playing, I said to my dad, I said, man, this U of A style of basketball. Duke want to score 90 points, 80 points. So if they can keep it low and Sampson does what he usually does as far as it's a half-court offense and a staunch half-court defense, I think it's going to be into Houston's ballpark. Style of play, pace. And I see a chess move at the end of the game to win that national championship for the University of Houston.
So two things I noticed in the game from this weekend for U of H. They did an interview with Sampson after the first quarter, or midway through the first half, and he said his players were playing uncharacteristically tight.
Yeah.
So that's key for a coach to recognize that my players aren't performing like they normally perform. And so when you talk about some of the changes that he did, bringing in Wilson when he normally wouldn't have brought in Wilson at that point, that's because Coach Sampson recognized where his players, how they were performing and kind of where they were not only performing on the court, but psychologically.
Right.
So he had to shake him up. He shook him up. The other thing is that I thought was super, super key. And I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I called it out. I called it out on our last show. What did I say? Key to Houston winning is not gonna be because he gonna get his. Cryer gotta be the man in order to help them win. And Cryer kept them in the game. At one point in time, Houston had 36 points and Cryer had 18.
Yeah,
so without Cryer, they wouldn't even have a chance to make that comeback at the end. Sharp ended up getting his at some point. Roberts got his, but like I said, and once again, he's going to have to do the same thing this coming game.
Because he got to be consistent. Because he have a good game and come back.
Right.
You know, but the key to me, I was thinking about the guys always been there. He's white. Miles was a kid.
Miles Usain,
he got that game.
Yeah.
Because to me, he didn't play good.
Now he had an all game that game.
He had all game.
He got in foul trouble. He got to stay out of foul trouble.
If he plays good, U of H got checked.
Right.
If he don't, you know what I'm telling you, that point guard is the curve of college basketball. He gonna find a way. And like said, you got to put somebody big on him.
Yeah.
That's true. But this kid still going to fight with him because they're going to let him.
Yeah, he was.
And he did it in one. I mean, he literally carried that game and took over. He beat all. I mean, they are going to win. That's the key because we worry about Florida.
No, you got that. Dude, hey, to me, Florida was the best team at the end of the year.
Number two, you know, you got to go through the SEC to win. And Houston's still an underdog.
Yeah, they are.
So
No, for sure.
we got to take it full tonight. And that point guard, that's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Like Steve May say, that's a bad thing.
Now, to me, it's still Roberts. Key guy for me for U of H is still Roberts.
Okay, so before you go there, and this is a great segue as we wrap up our special Final Four championship telecast, just to get you guys ready for the game tonight. It's going to be in San Antonio. I know half of Houston is already there. The other half is going to be watching them for sure, and history is going to be made. So history is going to be made regardless. Why is history going to be made? You potentially have the oldest coach ever to win a national championship in Kelvin Sampson. And then, yes, U of H, Houston Cougs have been to the national championship before with them Fox Slamma Jamma teams back in the day, but they never won it. They got their heart broken by North Carolina State.
They've been a more Final Four team than never.
Yeah.
No, championship games. They've never won the championship either. But to your point.
Yeah.
But to your point, they've been to more Final Four games of any team that's never won it.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, if Florida wins, they will have the youngest basketball coach to ever win a national championship on the flip side with Florida. So history's definitely going to be made tonight, a championship game. As we roll and wrap up, Malik, I'm going to give you first.
Mm-hmm.
What are your keys to the game and how you see the game playing out?
I knew we was talking about the Rockets situation. And you were saying how he did Curry last.
Right.
So basically, can you break that Rocket game to the game tonight?
Yeah.
Like I said,
Main deal is putting bodies on with Clayton, not giving him open looks. I think he's going to play regular with Clayton first half.
Yep.
But then second half, he's going to put some length on Clayton. You know what I mean? Now, everybody's talking about Clayton, but Florida's a good team overall. They got height, athleticism. I don't know if y'all paid attention to Elijah Martin.
Yep.
He made those 2 nice dunks.
Yep.
And they're tough. And they got athletes. So it's not like just
it's not a one-man show.
Yeah, it's not a one-man show. You got Paul coming off the bench. He's a 6'10" guy, athletic. Condon, 6'11", big guy. And then they got Chinamway, I think. He's an African guy, about 6'9" with high diesel. So it's going to be a tough battle. For me, my main guy is Roberts. Roberts gave them points and rebounds, double-double. The other bigs collect the boards and block more shots than do. Average height of U of H is 6'4" and 7'8". Average height of Duke is 6'8". They rebound them by 11. U of H been dogs with rebound. They get their rebound advantage again. Roberts has a good game. I just need out of them 3 guards, just 2 of them to be decent. Just like last game. Cryer and Sharp was decent. It can be Uzane and Cryer. It don't matter. If I get 2 out of them and Roberts has a solid game, U of H will upset. All
right, Pat, what you got? What you got, Pat? What are your keys to the game?
You know, U of H, one thing Duke can have a point.
Yes.
And
They were too tall.
Duke too big athletic for him. That was all. U of H they never gave up.
No.
They never gave up.
They never do.
They do, you know. And the key thing is, you know, you play against a team tonight with a true point guard. Down the middle of them. And they got to stop that point guard. I think it's going to come down to the point guard. Can this kid U of H have another good game? Like I said, he'll play good and come back to the game and be the small. Got it hanging. You know, I got, you know, it's been miserable for me since 83 dealing with U of H. They lost against NC State.
That NC State was hard to deal with because
I
it could have been
love to
avoided.
get over there tonight. But, you know, I want to see U of H win. Trust me, but if I had to predict it, bet, I'm going to go Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with U of H.
All right.
I see the upset.
So let me give my takes, and we're going to end the show with everybody giving their what they feel like the score of the game is going to be. So I think it's two keys to the game. Two keys to the game is because it's NCAA tournament. We're talking college basketball. It's coaching and guards. Coaching and guards. And so when I say coaching and guards, Clayton is going to get his, but they can't let him be a superstar like he's been in the last couple of games. I mean, people trying to compare him to Shabazz Napier, to Kemba Walker back in the day, Steph Curry in the tournament. Like if he had that type of game tonight, then he's in that rarefied air. No slight against him. I don't really see that in his game just yet, but he's been a great player in the tournament. He's been a great game in the tournament. Hold on, guys. Let me get my comments out. You can disagree all you want to, but let me get my comments out. I gave you your long sermon. You got your sermon at the end. You got your sermon at the lead. He took a text and a scripture, and now he wanted to sing a song on my text. On my text. Okay. So lastly, on the UA side though, I will tell you that it could potentially be, I'm not going to say a blowout, but UH winning by anywhere from 8 to 14 points. If you have not a great game, but just a consistent game, an average game from Cryer, Uzan, and Sharp at the same game. Neither three of them got to play out of their world, but they just play to their capabilities, then it's a blowout. Because they're going to make sure that Roberts gets his, and Roberts going to get his. Now, if one of those two guys are off, then you need a Cryer to have a superstar game. You need a Sharp to score 25, and you need a Uzan to take it to the bucket. The key, though, is I think history is going to be made. I picked U of H in my bracket, but you did hear me say that I felt like Florida had a real good chance of pulling it out based off the way they have been playing. But Kelvin Sampson showed that he's the best coach, one of the best coaches in the country during this tournament. And he definitely showed it. He definitely showed it in the last game when they beat Duke. They were well coached. They were organized. You didn't see players out of position. And he kept those players composed, and he made the necessary adjustments in order to beat a team, even when people thought they already lost. So, what I miss?
I mean, Jimmy Swagger. Anyway, everybody knows Kevin Sampson, one of the best coaches. Yeah, he's a coach that been wanting. Right, he gives respect. Florida peaked at the right time, and they've been playing good all year. Like I said, at the end of the day, you got to come to the SEC. I already said it. U of H and Duke would have got it. I think it would have been obvious. Okay. But you got Tech. Tech had one came back. And if people don't realize this, Tech, Florida really did use them play. Because I see that's one thing I don't see U of H play. Texas Tech.
Yeah.
That game scared me. But this team, I can't see it being a blowout. If it's a blowout, it's going to be the other way. I can't see it. It's going to be a tight game.
I think it's going to be a tight game.
So what's your score? What's your score?
I think 83 to 79.
Who? Okay.
Me, I'm going like 71, 68, 67, U of H. So I really think they're going to keep it in that realm of 60, 70 points. Any 60, 70 points, that's U of H game. Any over 85, that's Florida. Kevin Sampson does not want to give up no 90 points to anybody.
I think it's going to be 70 to 61. You heard it here first. Dallas Melvin's telling you that Houston Cougs are going to win the national championship against the Florida Gators, 70 to 61, and make history on a couple of different levels with Kelvin Sampson winning his first and the Cougars winning their first national championship basketball game. So before we go, last word.
Yeah, I got something to say.
What you got, Malik?
Now, I got something to say to Houston, H-Town. These boys win this championship, watch the next 5 years. Sampson's still young enough to coach for another 3-5 years, and they're getting McDonald's All-Americans now. We're not getting 3 stars, but maybe 1 4 or 5 star every blue moon. We getting 5 stars. He got 3 5-star freshmen coming in next year. I think it might be the start of a real dynasty. It won't be the last national championship.
But let me ask you this. You know he's setting the Suns up.
Yeah. I heard
the train will keep going in that even time. Like you said, he could coach for 3-5 more years.
Yeah.
I
think he win this one.
But his son, I know he's setting them up.
Yeah, his son's supposed to be the predecessor next in line. But I feel that if Samson get this championship with who he got coming in,
he gonna keep
whatever
going.
transfer he got coming in, he like, man, you crazy. I got 2 more years of this, and I may even get another. How many 5-stars on U of H right now? How many 5-star players on U of H?
None.
LJ Pryor probably one of the highest ranked ones.
Yeah.
You know, he was all world, all state.
But I'm talking about 5-star.
Yeah, but see, listen, U of H been he got Jarris Walker, first top 10. He in the Pacers right now. He was able to get Quentin Grimes back. But now he's signing 3 top 15, top 20 players out the nation. It's scary times for everybody else in the Big 12. Trust me.
Wow.
Get ready. Pat, what you got before we go?
Shoot, I'm gonna see the whole time. But I'm gonna say this too. It was a good weekend for Houston basketball.
Hey, I just realized.
Beating Golden State. Beating Golden State.
You want the smoke, don't you?
Oh, what?
Because you going for you saying Florida gonna win. You about to get a bunch of smoke. I knew that's what he really wanted. Yeah.
Let me tell you something about this time. Who don't want to be right? But sometimes I hate to be right. Sometimes I don't want to be right. You know, you have your prediction. You feel it is what it is. But at the same time, though, Houston, it was a good weekend.
Great weekend.
They beat Golden State yesterday. You know, they beat them. And I'm telling you, people say they want something like that.
Yes.
That's
right now. Know what he's doing.
That's a show for another time. This is Championship Monday as we close out.
Hey man, I'm damn showing the top of the stand, man. Weekend show, man.
I get it.
Basketball on the Vikings. Because
Tuesday.
that kept the momentum.
I understand you going on how you feel, Tuesday, but sometimes that feeling is constipation, not really truth and facts. So with that being said, Houston, get ready to celebrate. Houston, get ready for that parade. Houston, make sure we high-fiving each other and we taking care of each other and we're not pulling each other down. So if we win it, we ain't fighting, we lose, we ain't scrapping with nobody. We're gonna win like champions and we're gonna celebrate. Malik, what you got before we go?
Hey, U of H, start of a dynasty.
Start of a dynasty. That's a great way to end the show. Let's go. Y'all have a great week. Look for us again later this week.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's the question?